this afternoon is a seasoned hotelier and the managing director of Fred's Ranch in Kitengela, Kenya. He's also a widely sought after motivational speaker and the founder of the motivational brand Your Next Level, YNL. Does anybody want to move to the next level? You want to listen to this gentleman. He's passionate about inspiring people to reach and unleash their potential and has a special interest in motivating youth in Africa. He's a proud member of Lerai Toastmasters Club. I have to add that he's my personal friend. I know people. His speech today encapsulates our conference theme, Leave Nothing on the Table. Toastmaster Victor Machoka, are you ready for us? Toastmaster Victor.
Yes, we are. I hope it's good. Can you hear me well?
I can hear you loud and clear. It's good to see you, Victor. Welcome to TCON 2020. We're delighted to have you here. I have to also apologize to you for having some technical problems at the back there, but I know you're a good Toastmaster and you can roll with the punches. Ladies and gentlemen, delivering a speech on the title, Leave Nothing on the Table, Toastmaster Victor Machoka. Leave nothing on the table. Leave nothing on the table. Toastmaster Victor Machoka.
Thank you. It's an amazing opportunity to be able to speak to so many people, and this opportunity at a time like this is something that I do not take for granted. So thank you for tuning in. I have a question for you, but before I ask you a question, I want to tell you something. Greatness is never on sale. All right? I want you to say that with me. Greatness is never on sale. Let me tell you a story. When I was young, I always knew I was going to be successful. I believed I was going to be successful. In fact, I can actually look back and remember the time that I made a decision that I was going to be successful. I think it was about in class 7 and 8, around that time when we used to live in Kilimani, somewhere in Hurlingham, and my parents got kicked out of the house because we could not afford the rent. And it was quite a debacle and it was very embarrassing. They got kicked out and came to some Bundu's place called Kitengela. At that time, nobody knew what Kitengela was. In fact, what most people knew is Mlolongo area. Guys knew Athi River. So Mlolongo wasn't even called Mlolongo until after we got here. And vehicles used to park on the side of the road, the trucks, and they used to make a queue, which now we later on started calling Mlolongo. And that's how the town grew up. So anyway, we moved here, and me and my brother, as we started getting to know each other, I have got 2 brothers and a sister. My eldest brother, we started becoming friends, and we made the decision that we're going to be successful because we want to make sure we go back to Kilimani. We go back to Hurlingham and buy a house and live there and prove to ourselves that actually we could actually do something that is worthwhile, that we could change the norm and change how everything is. So anyway, that is class 8. And then a bit later on, we started getting more deliberate about even the cars we were going to drive. It's crazy. We watched a movie, for those of you around my age, George Clooney acted a movie called The Peacemaker, sometime in the 90s. And they were driving Benzos and Mercedeses on the street. We fell in love and we knew we were going to drive BMWs. Mine was going to be black, my brother's was going to be white. And it was very interesting, you know. As a young person, you always dream, and it's always good for you to dream. We dreamt, and we dreamt big. So we walk into life. Life happens when you just come out of teenagehood. We start going through the motions. My brother finished high school in the country, 1999. I was devastated. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't understand it. I felt alone. And my performance in life, I think now looking back, I realized it just dipped. I just dipped. My performance just went down. I went through high school, didn't finish with the grades that I felt that my potential deserved. And then I went into campus and I still didn't do as well as I thought that I should have done. But we went through and I got a good job. And mobile, as people say. So I know many of you are working right now. You got a good job, you finished school. And I had the job that I loved. And as we went through life, life continued happening. And I resigned at one point. Silly is a story for another day. But I resigned in 2011, got into self-employment, which was a good thing. And that didn't work out. Got back into employment in 2012. But here's the thing. This is the second part of the story that I want to tell you about. In some 2 years into my second stint in employment, life happened. All right. And as I plug in my battery here that is running low, I realized that life happened. And so what happened is I had to come to a place where I had a crisis of faith. Okay. So I'm a Christian. God. I'm somebody who has always loved God. And even though my life went a different way when I went into high school, it later came back. And when I came back into employment in 2012, I decided to make my life right with God. And I knew that I wanted to serve in church. And I got to do some things. I got into ministry. And I started spending some good time with my God and tried to get my life back in order. But in 2013, on an interesting Monday morning, I woke up one day, Monday morning, go to work. I used to go to work very early in the morning. So I go to work and I park my car outside somewhere in Westlands at a parking lot because the office is not open. We were living in Embakasi and I had to drive all the way to Westlands. So the only way to get there early, or the only way to get there right is to get there early. So I got there early and I was sitting in the car in the parking lot and I was reading my Bible. I said, let me put in some devotion. Let me talk to my God. Let me just get my life in order. Let me prepare for my week. It's about 7 o'clock and I get a call from my wife. Now, the interesting part is this Monday morning is a special Monday morning. It is our wedding anniversary. I'm a father of 2 kids. I got one kid that's 5 years old, got another child that's seven months old. And you know, when you're a young father, we've been married for 6 years. That's our 6th wedding anniversary. I'm just, you feel like you don't want to get into the house sometimes. So sometimes when you're going in, there's so much noise in the house that you just want to sit in the parking lot and you ask yourself, do I really want to get into this home? And we had those moments, and I was really struggling in being a father and all that. But at this moment, I'm sitting there and I left my wife in bed. So when the call comes in at 7 o'clock, I say, hey, baby, how you doing? And I'm about to say something smart, something like, I know you miss me. I know you're looking forward to this beautiful day. I know you're waiting for a surprise. But then before I can spit out my snide remark, my wife says, you need to come home. And I'm saying, hey, what's wrong? What's up? And she says, you have to come home now. Something is wrong. I ask her, what's going on? She says, something has happened to our son, our 7-month-old son. So I'm trying to probe, and she says, I don't have the details. I'm going to the hospital, and they're bringing the child to the hospital. She's already at work. I'm already panicking. I'm trying to get more information out of her, but she hangs up the phone. So I'm like, okay, fine. Reverse out of the parking lot like a crazy man, and then just start driving all the way back. Now, it's 7:30 coming to 8. Traffic is thick as a forest. I cannot go through Nairobi from Westlands. So I have to go back through Thika Road and go way around through the Ruiru bypass to try and make it in the thick of traffic. So I'm driving, it's crazy, and I'm going all out and everything. And then at one point, my pastor calls me, my pastor Joshua. He calls me, he's like, hi, where are you? I say, I'm driving home, what's the problem? He says, I've been told there's something wrong, but don't worry, it will be well. I'm trying to get information out of him. I'm asking, Pasi, what's wrong? What's the issue? He's not talking to me. He just says, just keep coming, just come. It is well, all is well. Everything's gonna be okay. I'm asking him, why are you telling me everything's gonna be okay? I know everything's gonna be okay. What's wrong with my son? He doesn't tell me anything, he just says it is well. So this is me driving on the wrong side of the road on a Monday morning. My hazards are on. I'm honking like a crazy man. And as I'm driving there crazy speeds, I'm just making a deal with God. And I'm saying, make sure that he's okay. As long as he's alive, as long as he's okay, as long as nothing is broken or amputated, Just promise me that he's gonna be okay, and I'll do anything that you want. I'll give you anything. I'll give you anything that you ask of me. That time I'm repenting of every sin that I've committed, anything that I've ever done that I know that I should not be doing. I'm just saying how sorry I am, and I'm saying, God, we agree. I will do anything you want. Just make sure that my son is okay. So I'm driving, and I get to Kenya Airways, turn around through Kasi, and I drive into the KQ clinic because my wife was working at KQ. I drive in and I find a crowd of people, and I'm wondering what's going on, and there are people that I know. So the first thing is my wife sees the car, and she comes up to me and she says, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And I'm asking her, what do you mean you're sorry? And she says, I'm sorry. He's gone. And everything in me just screamed. Every part of me just screamed right there at the parking lot, and I fell on my knees, and I did not know what to do. And she's telling me that my 7 months, 10 days old son is dead. So I say, where is he? And my friend is a good friend of mine, Timothy Lukorito. I don't know if he's online right now. And he holds my hand, and he takes me to the spot. He takes me inside the clinic where they've laid my son. And I'm crying, I'm screaming. And I get to the place where my son is. And I'm holding the lifeless body of my baby. And at that moment, I made a deal with Satan. I made a deal with the devil. And I promised him, wherever I go, I promise you, I will wreck your kingdom. Every single place where I find you, I will destroy you. Because I was so sure that there is no way that this could have happened, and it was not a divine appointment. One thing that happened is I could not understand how such a tragedy could happen, not just to us, not just to me, somebody who deemed myself to have been faithful to God and faithful to everything that I felt was right. But why did it have to happen on our wedding anniversary? Well, a few days later, we had to bury our son. And the one thing that I walked away from that with, I made myself a promise that I will die empty. That was a promise that I made myself. And me and my wife agreed that we are going to die empty. That every gift that we have, every single power that we have, every single unique capability that we have, because we don't know when life is going to cut it short, we decided that we are going to make sure that every single day that we go to sleep empty, that we go to sleep with our tank on E. And basically, just like the theme of today, we decided that we will leave nothing on the table. So I want to tell you two things, and then I'm going to get out of your way. You see, owes you nothing. Start there. Life owes you nothing. And many times we think that we have got some entitlement in life, especially when we go through trauma, especially when we go through tragedy. We think that we are entitled to something. And I know I'm speaking to somebody right now who's going through stuff. We're in a COVID-19 are going through stuff. Guys are going through difficulties. Guys have jobs. Guys are struggling in their families. Guys are struggling in their careers. Schools have closed. Guys are going through stuff. It could be in this season, in your past, that many times we go through stuff and we think that that entitles life to give us a discount on our dream. And I simply want to speak that to somebody today and tell you that life owes you nothing. Everything that you do, everything that you ever desire, that you are meant to have, those things you're going to have to fight for. And when I made a decision that I'm going to go for my dreams, we decided that we've got so many dreams, so many ideas that we wanted to do. We always wanted to open up a hotel. Whenever we used to walk through my parents' shamba, we used to say, this is the place where we need to open a hotel. And it was clear, but we were so comfortable in our place of works. She was working in Kenya, as I was working for a company, I was a manager, and we were so comfortable that we felt, you know what, we are going to do it someday. And the day that we decided to do it, I thought that everything will become easy because it had already been unfair to me. Here's the thing, life didn't owe me anything. In fact, let me speak to somebody who's gone through tragedy and tell you this. Even the stuff that is on your plate right now that you asked for, that stuff is at risk. You know, I'll use a hospitality analogy. Life is like a restaurant. Every time you walk into a restaurant, a new restaurant at that, you come in with expectations. Sometimes you order stuff and it's not that stuff that comes. Have you ever walked into a restaurant and you order things and you don't get what you ordered for? Or what comes is not exactly the way you expected it to come? That is exactly how life is. It's like walking into a new restaurant. You order for chicken and you hope that it's a chicken that you have in your mind. But half the time, many times, it is not what you expect. Life will give you a buffet of things mixed with what you asked for and stuff that it's forcing you to feed on. And it is your responsibility to make sure that you do not leave anything on the table, because all that stuff is yours. And the things, sometimes life can serve as something that is so disgusting, that is so painful, that you lose your appetite. And I'm speaking to somebody today who may have lost their appetite for greatness. You've lost your appetite for the things that you ordered for just because on your plate there's something that you didn't order for. And I want to tell you this, there will be no discount on your dreams just because you had a nightmare. Just because you got served some tragedy doesn't mean that in future you're going to get things going easier for you. You may have your pity party, you may go through your pain, but the time will come you're going to have to pick yourself up and say, you know what, it's my life. I thought that my marriage was going to be easier. I almost lost my marriage. I almost lost my mind. I would have nightmares. I would scream all the way from my dreams, all into reality, into my wife's arms. I would scream, I would wake up crying and shedding tears and sweating, and I almost lost my mind. And I got to the place where I had to speak to myself and tell myself, you know what, you are going to keep your mind, you're going to keep your sanity. I almost lost my marriage. I blamed her. She blamed me. We blamed ourselves. We blamed everything. We blamed God. We almost lost our faith. We almost lost our business. We almost lost our jobs. I was so disjointed in my place of work, and I thought that I deserved a free pass just because I'd been through some tragedy. And I want to tell you this, there is no free pass. I had to become stronger. And I'm speaking to somebody today. You've gone through stuff, and that stuff has stolen your hunger. That stuff makes you think that life owes you an apology just because you went through difficulty. You think that life owes you a discount just because you went through tragedy. And I want to tell you this, you're still going to have to fight. I had to fight for my marriage. I had to fight for my mind. I had to fight for my job. I had to fight for my sanity. And you're going to have to pick yourself up and say, you know what? I may have lost one child, but my other child is not going to give me a discount on parenting. You're still going to have to become the best dad to the child that you have. You may have lost a parent, but that doesn't give you a discount on getting your career. What is it that you dream about? What is it that you think that you really want in life? You will not get a discount just because you think that you've been through something. Because the reason why life takes you through that, and hear me, and I want you to hear me very closely wherever you are. Many times we think that life punches us because it means to kill us. Life punches you because it wants to wake you up. And many of us are in slumber. We sleep. You sleep on your potential. You sleep on what you think that you can do because you think you've got tomorrow, you've got another opportunity. You may not have another opportunity. Some of us, we don't know whether we're going to live the next 10 minutes or the next 10 years. Every single moment you've got is an opportunity for you to pursue greatness. Stop waiting for the next opportunity. Stop sitting and complaining and thinking that life owes you something. Life owes you nothing. Wake up and chase your dreams. The reason why, let me tell you this, the reason why we look at life, and this is crazy, you paradigm shift. Changes. We actually expect life to come and cajole us and to talk to us nicely when life is trying to say, get up. Life is not this thing that people call it unfair or they call it a female dog. Life is your coach. Think of it like a coach. Life is there to make sure that it gets the best out of you. And sometimes it has to punch you in the face for you to realize that your opportunities have an expiry date, that your potential has an expiry date. And somebody right now, the reason you've lost that job is so that you can wake up and fight back, not so that you can run away. The purpose of that punch in the face is so that you can wake up and fight for what is yours. So don't let the pain rob you of your hunger. When a coach comes into your life, they don't come in to be your friend. Their job is to pull out the best that you've got. So life is your coach. And when it looks at you, it looks at your potential. Not everybody gets into every team. When you go to play for a team, if I'm going to play for my team, Manchester United, I love that team, I'm going to have to do trials. What are they looking for? They're looking for potential. Now, some of us are so in love with our potential. We talk about our potential. We write about our potential. We talk about all the things that we are capable of doing. But listen to me very closely. Sometimes life will punch you in the face so that you stop getting excited about your potential, because potential will not feed you. Potential is not enough to get you to your dream. Sometimes you need to be hungry enough. You need to have enough fight in you. And many of us, the punch in the face is to give you the fight. Is to make you angry. And I said, you know what? I am going to parent my kids the best way I know how. I'm going to live every second of my life. There will not be a single one of the 86,400 seconds in my life that I'm going to allow to take for granted. I'm going to achieve every goal. I'm going to speak to generations. I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that every night my tank is on E. So let me ask you right now, how many of you can honestly say that when you sit down, you give 100%? Put your hands up if you know that you give 100%. How many of you? And listen, it's not based on your neighbor, based on your potential. How many of you can say that every night when I go to sleep, I'm on E, I've got nothing left to give? I see you. I see you. Be honest with yourself, because guess what? That is what life is about. Life is about making sure that you're constantly on E before bedtime. Every single thing you are meant to say, you said it. Every single relationship that you are meant to build, you build it. And I want to ask you today, where is your fight? Where is your fight? What are you fighting for? What is pushing you and waking you up in the middle of the night? Because let me tell you, when you have a dream, you don't need an alarm clock. When you have a dream, you don't need coffee and cold water to keep you awake in the middle of the night. Your dream will drive you. And especially when you know that it can leave at any single moment, that you can lose it at any single moment, don't let your tragedy steal your appetite for success. And that's basically what I want to tell you today. I want to speak to somebody who's lost their hunger. Somebody who thinks that just because you've gone through a difficult time, that it warrants you losing your hunger for that greatness. And I want to tell you this, greatness is never on sale. The problem with Kenyans many times, and Africans, let me say this, is that we walk around looking for a discount. We spend our energy, we spend our intellect, and Kenyans, Africans are some of the most intelligent people in the world, but we use our intellect to look for a shortcut. We use our intellect to look for a way, an easy way out. I challenge you today to use your intellect to take the long route. Take the long route, pay the bill for success, so that you can show other people where you've come from. You can have a story. You can make sure that whatever life serves you on the table, you will leave nothing on the table. If you've got a gift, make sure that you hone that gift. And let me tell you something as I conclude. This is all I want to tell you. When you get hungry, there are a number of things that happen. First of all, your manners go out of the window. Some of you, you're so bougie. You're too bougie, you know? You fight so clean. You fight so smart. You're not afraid. You don't want people to look at you in a certain way. You don't want people to say certain things about you. You've got contacts on your phone that you don't call because you're thinking, what are they going to be thinking about me? What are they going to say about me? You've got people that you don't want to tell the issues that you have because you're afraid that they're going to judge you. And I want to tell you today and challenge you. When you get hungry, sometimes life will punch you in the face so that you can get hungry. When you get hungry, you give it everything that you've got. You fight ugly. You fight day and night, and you give it everything that's in your tank So thank you for listening. That's all I wanted to tell you today. I want to tell you, make sure you don't lose your appetite for greatness just because you've gone through tragedy. And I know that you'll take it to the next level. Thank you for tuning in. Victor Machoka here. Cheers.